Black vote ain't for sale. We bartering on business. We standing on business. Bring us some tangibles or get out of my face. Ricky Smiley, I love you. But crying on the radio for Kamala Harris, my brother, that's an all-time low. Don't do that again, Ricky Smiley. Don't you get on your radio show and cry for Kamala. Don't you do that, my brother. If you want to cry for Kabama Harris, if you want to cry for Kabama Harris, you do that in the privacy of your house. But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers, but if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we're not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we're not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of the vote. But they being paid, y'all being bought. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. Yes, we can do the interview. Keep your money. King Kong consciousness ain't for sale. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey Gorilla. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey Gorilla. Don't come to me with no propositions for money. I don't live for no money. I'm not one of these goofy rappers whose whole life is nothing but what you can buy and own. You dealing with real African DNA. This is real ancestral energy over here. I'm not no Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation on November the 4th. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation.
Specifically called you out, Steve. He called out Ricky Smiley. He claimed that both of you were paid to support Kamala Harris's campaign.
Well, first of all, we're going to have her on her again, or how many other times is needed to get her into office.
To get the vote.
Brother Umar, let me say this, man. I absolutely love some of the things you say. I really, really do, man. Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say. But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Yes, hey.
Let me just A that out the way. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing. No, you can go through the industry and ask about me.
That's
Bruh, let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, cause I like some of the work he does. I really do. Yeah. Listen, man, I don't.
He said
I don't do nothing. Nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult. Don't insult the brand equity that I've built over these 30 years of television. I just don't, man. And I'm doing this absolutely free of charge because I want this country to be in her hands as opposed to Donald Trump's hands. That's why I do it. Now, me and Ricky Smiley happen to be on the same page. Now, we Q's now, and so is D.L. Hughley. And Q's kind of run the airways of black radio.
Okay. All right.
The Q's is running the airways of black radio.
All right, Purple and Gold.
Okay. But we also understand what's at stake here. So no, I haven't received a single dollar from anybody to do what I do. And I'm doing it gladly for free. Yes. And I'm going to freely have her on here again and again and again. I am going to freely ask soft questions. I am going to freely lob the basketball so she can slam dunk all these questions. Yes.
And she
I'm going to
that.
freely sit here and agree. So the black vote is not for sale, but it is a very important block of votes that can control the outcome of this election. And if I have my way, if it is within God's will, she will be the next president of the United States, because the alternative, see, there's only two people running for president.
Yeah.
It's Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump. That's the choice. Yeah. So I don't know. And if somebody offered you 10, you should have took it. But anybody offered me nothing. But please don't insult me.
All right. First things first. It's always interesting to me when a person is talking about somebody and they always like to make known, I don't agree with everything he says, or I don't agree with everything she says. You don't say. There's not a single human being on this planet you can point to that you agree with on every single topic. I just want to get that out the way, because at 50, 60, 70, however old Steve Harvey is, it's always a weird, like, bro, you should know that by now. But that's besides the point. Let's move to the first major thing that the problem I have with what Steve Harvey said. First of all, you said that it's insulting to assume that someone would pay you, would offer you $10,000 to do anything. The brand that you've built over 30 years is insulting to say that, or to assume that you would accept $10,000. But it's not offensive for someone to assume that you will have that same person on for free, not once, but multiple times, as you just said. In the future, you're willing to have this woman come on for free. So it's insulting to assume that you'll take $10,000, but it's not insulting to assume that you'll take no money. That's the first point, which I don't even believe that you did that for free. But even if you did it for free, that's even worse. But let's get something else out the way. That's not even what Dr. Umar said. Dr. Umar said that they offered him $10,000. How do you go on a whole rant over something the man never even said? It makes no sense. The next thing I'd like to point out is you said you're willing to have her on as many times as necessary to get her into office because you realize what's at stake. Here's my first question for you, Mr. Steve Harvey. What's at stake? Because the first thing I'm willing to know is, so let me get this straight. You're willing to have a person in office, regardless if you like Kamala, regardless if you like Trump, or you like neither. This is my question for you. Whoever you want in office, you mean to tell me the best way you think to get them in office is to have them on your platform and give them softball questions? This is the person that's going to be sitting in the highest seat in office in the country, right? The highest seat in the world, according to a lot of people. She'll be sitting across from Putin, Vladimir Putin and these other world leaders. You're going to throw her softball questions? Why? Huh? Why? That's one of the biggest criticisms of Kamala. So if you're a Democrat, if you're rooting for the Democrats, wouldn't you want her to be on a platform answering the hardball questions, giving you her policies, showing you that she's up for the task? No. You don't believe that. So my first question for you, Steve Harvey, is why don't you believe that? Is it because she's a woman? Is that why? Is it because she's a Democrat? Is that why? Because that will be insulting. That will be identity politics, right? So explain to me why it is that you think that it's necessary to throw her these lobs, to throw her these softball questions. Why? Any answer you give is a lose-lose, bro, right? The next question I have for Mr. Steve Harvey is, I'm very curious, for anybody who watched that clip, I'm curious what Steve Harvey would say as somebody who's many times over the years came out and said that he believes in God. I would love to know his position on abortion. I'm just curious. I would love to know Steve Harvey's position on the gender ideology, right? Can women be men? Can men be women? Can you be both? Does it matter? How do you feel about the transgender issue? Right? I understand there are much bigger and much heavier topics and concerns in the world other than the transgender topics. I understand. But this is a hot button topic that directly, as a lot of people believe, goes against the Bible, goes against a lot of the things that Christians stand for. And this is supposed to be a Christian country. So I'm curious, as someone in Steve Harvey who's religiously over the years, pun intended, talked about his belief system. I would love to know his thoughts on that. I would love to know his thoughts around Kamala's policies, or if he even knows what her policies are. And the last thing is, I'd love to know what's at stake. He said he's at stake. Man, they really make Donald Trump sound. There's several things I disagree with when it comes to Donald Trump. The way he carries himself, the lying that he does, the name calling that he does, a lot of the things that the conservatives won't call out. But what about this man is putting the country at stake? That part I may have missed. The dictatorship that you all say that he wants to do, how would he even be able to pull that off? That's what I would say to anybody that's anti-Trump. If you're really concerned that much about Trump, how would he pull that off? It's not that many of the Proud Boys in this country. Here's the thing I want to just throw in there as well. For all of you out there that's concerned about Donald Trump being against the deep, or the conservatives that claim that he's against the deep state and he's against the powers that be, listen to me. If Donald Trump, or anybody else for that matter, white, black, pink, orange, I don't care what color you are, if you really are against the deep state, if you really are against the powers that be, you wouldn't even make it to this point. You know how easy it would be to delete you, to unalive you? Do you know how easy it would be to, even if they didn't take it that far, you wouldn't even make it, they wouldn't even let the votes or the popularity get to a point to where you even make it to that stage. You have to be a part of the game. You have to be a part of the show to make it to that point. I just turned 30. How do I know that already? I've already been able to put that together with common sense. And you got 50, 60, 70-year-olds out here like Steve Harvey rooting for Kamala to the point, Ricky Smiley rooting to them to the point where they're crying on television, crying on the radio, rooting for these people, talking about they're going to give them as many softball questions as possible. Conservative or liberal, why would you want to give either party, either side, softball questions and they're about to run the country? They're going to be the president for everybody. I don't get it. I just don't get it. First, you mischaracterized what Dr. Umar said. By the way, his name is Umar, not Omar.
That's
Bro,
right.
let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man.
But I digress. It's just silliness to me, man. What do y'all think about this? Hop in the comment section, man. I love to know y'all thoughts. I just think when it comes to political state, I don't believe in any of these politicians, personally. So it's always funny to me when these celebrities come out and go above and beyond. Meg Thee Stallion up there twerking and dancing on stage. It's a clown show, bro. By the way, let me make sure I say this as well. It's not just the Democratic side that have celebrities that come out, because whenever it's convenient for them, conservatives are quick to say, look at this, they had Meg Thee Stallion twerking and it's a clown show and it's ratchet and ghetto and debauchery and ungodly. Do y'all forget? Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump had Lil Pump. Not only did he have a rapper that promotes debauchery and degeneracy in his music, but it was a little kid. Like Lil Pump is, I mean, when you talk about the most airheaded rappers, this man had a song at the time popping called Gucci Gang. He went up there on stage doing a Trump rally. Don't be a hypocrite. Hop in the comment section, like the video. Thank y'all for being here. Until next time.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.